Tonight, we're hearing from the daughter of two Zips Sports Grill employees who were reportedly detained by federal agents during an investigation into their workplace. Thanks so much for joining us for 12 News at 10. I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. This comes as the U.S. District Attorney's Office confirmed today that federal agents took 35 people into custody during the raids at Zips on Monday. 12 News journalist Gabriela Becerra is live at the Zips location where that couple worked and has more on what's next for the family. Gabby?
Well, Mark Caribe, Rosa Barrera and the family's attorney tells me there are still a lot of unanswered questions and there's no clear timeline of what could happen next for her parents.
But my heart dropped because I already knew what was happening.
The past 48 hours for Rosa Barrera have been filled with uncertainty.
How am I going to tell my 4-year-old sister that we can't pick up mom because mom's not here?
Last Monday, her parents, Jose and Monica, went to work at Zip Sports Grill just like they've done every day for the past 20 years.
My dad's a kitchen manager and my mom helps my dad in the kitchen.
But on that day, federal agents with Homeland Security investigations served court-ordered search warrants at more than a dozen Zip Sports Grills around the valley, including their location at 32nd Street and Shea.
The one time I wasn't there was that one time that they showed up.
According to HSI, this months-long investigation into Zip Sports Grill is related to several suspected federal law violations, including unlawful employment of undocumented immigrants, identity theft, and document fraud. No charges against the business or its owner appear to have been filed yet. 12 News witnessed agents carrying computers and boxes of documents out of the restaurants. A video shared with 12 News also shows several employees being escorted away in zip ties. HSI confirms more than 35 suspected undocumented immigrants were arrested. Jose and Monica's attorney, Cherie Wright, tells me no criminal charges have been filed against her clients, and they're currently being held at the Eloy Detention Center. In a statement, Wright says, in part, quote, "This family has lived here for years, worked, paid taxes, and raised their children here. One child has special needs and is now without parental care. Whatever the government's broader investigation may be, families should not become collateral damage without due process or transparency."
Like what everybody else comes here for a better life for them and their children.
Barrera tells me she's been able to speak with her parents by phone, and through all of this, their main concern is their 4 children.
That's the most important thing my dad told me. He was like, no matter what, you guys are going to go to school. He's like, don't miss school. Just because everything of this is happening doesn't mean you can miss school.
At 18 years old, Barrera is left to care for her siblings, the youngest just a toddler. In the past 48 hours, her priorities have become managing a household and fighting for her parents' release.
Hopefully we get to see my parents soon and free.
And their attorney tells me that her clients did not have legal status, but they had started the process to obtain it. And Barrera, who also works at this Zips location, tells me that she's been told they're hoping to reopen soon. Live in Phoenix, Gabriela Becerra, 12 News.
All right, Gabby, thank you for that. Continuing our coverage tonight of a disturbing story from early last year, new body camera footage shows the makeshift cage that police claim a 13-year-old girl was kept in before she died. It is a child abuse case that led to the girl's mother and her grandmother being arrested. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly is joining us live in studio with more on what that video reveals. Chase?
Caribe, along with that body camera footage, we also obtained interviews with the suspects. Again, this happened about a year ago. Tempe police saying they found the girl covered in bruises before she died.
The body camera video starts with Tempe police officers walking into the apartment of 55-year-old Virginia Lujan. She called 911 saying her 13-year-old granddaughter was not breathing. Right when they entered the home, firefighters are seen performing CPR on the girl. Lujan and her daughter, 33-year-old Jamie Hodges, who is the 13-year-old's mother, are there, along with Hodges' other young children. Firefighters perform life-saving measures on the teen for more than 15 minutes before they take her to the hospital, where she died. Officers at the scene noticed the teen was covered in bruises. Some appeared to be old, while others looked new. Her face swollen, and there was dried blood inside her right ear. The officer then talks to Hodges about the injuries.
He thinks that she fell out of the grave with her bed.
Hodges claiming that's what Lujan told her. Her mom has custody of 4 of her kids. Lujan didn't call for help because she didn't want to get in trouble for how the girl looked. When police questioned Lujan at the hospital, she said just days before, her granddaughter fell down a flight of stairs and hit her head on the wall. Officers saw the damage, a head-sized hole at the bottom of the stairs. But Lujan claimed she didn't call 911 then because the girl seemed fine. Officers then started going through the house, describing it as filthy, trash littered on the floor, and cockroaches all over. They then walked into the girl's room, finding this, a makeshift cage, where they say the 13-year-old was kept.
There was no mattress, there was no bedding. It was fashioned with zip ties. According to the biological mother, the victim hadn't been out of that room in weeks.
The family says the teen was developmentally delayed with the mental capacity of a 3-year-old. Lujan would keep her in the cage for extended periods of time to control her.
I couldn't be with her 24 hours a day. I couldn't. It was impossible.
Lujan telling police she couldn't handle taking care of all the kids, saying she was given custody of them years ago because her daughter was in an abusive relationship. When police asked Hodges the last time she saw her daughter before her death, she said she didn't want anything to do with her.
I stopped checking on her because it was easier just not to.
Now, Lujan was arrested and indicted for several charges, including child abuse. However, she died back in September while in jail. Hodges was arrested and released with charges pending. Police tell me this is still an ongoing investigation. We're live in the studio. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
Chase, thanks. Tonight, the Phoenix Police Department confirmed the man that officers shot and killed on Monday was Christian Diaz. His family says officers shot the wrong man. Today, 12 News was there when family members found a key piece of evidence that investigators missed. The family says the gun you see here was thrown through the back of a car during the shooting. DPS investigators came back to collect that evidence today. According to Diaz's family, all of this started when their landlord's son came to their home Monday night and started firing. One of the bullets hit a 19-year-old inside the house in his ankle. The family says Diaz then tackled the gunman. Phoenix police say an officer fired one round into the house, hitting and killing Diaz, not the intruder. Tonight, the 19-year-old who was shot is speaking out.
I saw when the cop had shot my dad in the face, and I didn't know what to do. I just started screaming for him not to die. I started screaming at the police for shooting him. And my little brother came in and he got on his knees and he shook him, he held him, but he was already dead. I wish I could have done more, but because I was the first one shot, because I went down at the very beginning, I couldn't do anything for anyone.
And tonight, Phoenix police have released a statement saying in part, the Phoenix Police Department remains committed to transparency and understands there are many questions surrounding this tragic and complex incident. We ask for patience as the investigation continues. Arizona DPS is now leading the investigation.
New tonight, a Valley woman is sharing how a local restaurant brought comfort during a difficult goodbye. 12 News journalist Maria Stobbs is joining us in studio. And Maria, this is such a touching story.
Caribe, it is. It's a family-owned restaurant. She says her husband visited often, and in his final days, a simple act of kindness has now left a lasting impact.
After suffering from kidney failure,
he was in a lot of pain.
And making the decision to stop dialysis, Roberta Wilsey says her husband Al knew he only had a few days left.
He has been calling people on the phone, saying goodbye to them.
And on Saturday night, he made a call to one of his favorites, Nando's Mexican Cafe, placing an order for the following night.
I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I want Mexican."
On the other end of the phone was employee Ava Lita. She asked Al if he was going to pick the order up.
And he said, "Oh no, honey, I can't pick it up. I'm gonna die. I'm bedbound."
Something in his voice just something spoke to me, and I was like, he's not joking. These are his final few days, and it's up to us to make sure we do something about it, just to give him a smile or something, anything.
The next day, as Al was at his lowest,
this is a hard time. watching your husband pass away.
Nando's delivered Al's meal to his home.
Albondigo soup, chili relleno, side of rice, and the chips and salsa, yeah.
With a note saying they're praying for him and that dinner was on them.
I was blown away. I started crying, thinking he's not even going to be able to eat this food.
Thankfully, Al woke up the next morning ready to enjoy the meal.
He loved it. He absolutely loved it. He was there with his mouth wide open because I was feeding it to him.
Little did she know that would be his last meal.
It was so appreciated, and to think that it was Al's last meal is something pretty special.
And in the midst of loss, Roberta says that simple note and meal left her with something else.
It was such a good reminder that there are good people in this world. I just couldn't believe it.
Now, Roberta says she plans to keep that note and display it during Al's memorial service just to show everyone how powerful that gesture was.
Yeah. You know what? Those young ladies were raised right.
Yeah.
Like kudos to their parents for seeing that and being able to recognize, to show compassion in that moment.
Definitely, and they couldn't believe how much of an impact this did have because they knew this was just the right thing to do for someone.
And especially now with what's happening in the world, what his wife said is so true, Maria, and that is there are a lot of good people out there.
Yeah, and it's nice to be reminded of that.
Yeah,
So.
it really is.
All right,
Great
Maria,
story.
Thank you. Yes.